First time I'm trying YouTube Live. I usually do these things on Facebook. So I don't expect anyone to be on here right now. Nobody has a clue that this is happening. All right, so what I've been working on is a Thanos custom, and I've kit bashed them. Those of you that have joined me on the Facebook live sessions know I kit bashed a Juggernaut and a Marvel Select Thanos. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Eric? I'm trying this out on YouTube for the first time since I have some time on my hands now that I'm out of work for a little bit. But as I was saying, I've done this on Facebook, and I've explained that this is a Thanos, a Juggernaut Build-A-Figure meshed in with Marvel Select arms and head. But so I laid the base layer down, and the next thing I'm going to be doing here is just going to be doing some dry brushing. How'd you get a notification, Eric, if you're still up in here? How were you notified that I was live on YouTube? Were you online? Were you already on YouTube? So I did airbrushing with this paint. It was one of the first few times that I've airbrushed, and I finally figured it out. All your subs, not just Facebook. Huh. Cool. And I certainly don't expect you to stay in here, but I know you got things to do. You've seen me live plenty of times. I don't even know if I can play background music in this one. Maybe if I played it really softly, because I do need something to distract me. But I certainly don't want a copyright claim. Haven't had a copyright claim yet. I just need some background music. As soon as I can find Pandora. All right, brother. Peace out. Whoa. Better turn that down low. That's just for me, YouTube. Just for me. I'm going to dry brush with this paint. It's intended for air, for the airbrush, but I like the hue of it, so I'm going to use it. It says someone's in here. Please make yourself known, playa. Probably a little bit too much on the brush. I wonder if I can figure it out. Nope, can't figure it out. So I'm going to tell a story, because if it's just me painting here without music to keep everybody enthralled, oh, now there's nobody. Somebody just hopped on out. So here's a story, how I got into doing some customizing. Now, I'm not by no means an expert. I've been doing it for a couple of years. And the reason I got into it was because when I started collecting Transformers, I bought some of the cheap Hasbro ones, and the paint was terrible. And my mom is it's kind of an artist. She does pretty good with, she's just artistic. She's good at crafts. She's done painting. She's done oil painting and stuff like that. So I asked her to paint for me. And I had researched it, and all these guys were talking about the better type of paint so they wouldn't, chip, etc. So I asked her to use those paints, and I was going to buy it for her. And she kind of balked at it, but she liked using her cheap Michaels paint, the folklore stuff that's like 99 cents for 5 ounces. And who knows, maybe that's okay too, but from what I hear, those paints chip. So she did a couple Transformers for me. Pretty nice, actually. They came out very good, even using that cheap paint. She did like I think it was like a Legends class Starscream, and she made that thing look metallic, man. It looks pretty sweet. Never gonna get rid of it. She also changed what was one of the triple changers? She changed Springer into a Rodimus for me, and made that look pretty awesome. But she didn't want to use the paints I wanted to use. I'm kind of hard-headed. Came out after her, and she wouldn't use it. She didn't like the paints; they were too thin. And from all the stuff that I was researching, it's the way you go. You got to layer, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what? I jumped into it, and I have never taken an art class. Never, ever, ever, ever would think that this is something I would do. I'm not very good with my hands. I was an athlete. That's what I was good at sports. And that's pretty much it. But when my mom didn't want to custom the way I wanted it, or paint the way I wanted it, that's how I got into it. So I've done about 15 customs, I think now, where I've had to kit bash and paint and even do some sculpting. I did some sculpting here. You can't see it because it's taped up right now. Which, by the way, if you're going to tape a figure to paint, this painter's tape, terrible. Does not stay on there. Not on these figures anyway. Not on the plastic. So don't even bother doing that. And I started doing that. My first custom was a Marvel Legend Wolverine, brown suit Wolverine. This master customizer toy cooker, Justin Crisp. Check him out. Check out his work. You can find him on Figure Realm. You can find him all over Facebook. Toy cooker. He did one where he ended up using a, what's the name of that? Indestructible Hulk, but it was like a 3.75 scale figure. And he used that as the base mold for the body. And so I took part of his recipe and even asked him a couple questions because he extended the joint, the waist joint. And if you go back and you watch my action figure showcase, I showcased that Wolverine. It's a few videos back. And it came out pretty decent for my first custom. I was really happy with it. Kit bashed. It was very difficult. The level of knowledge and skill necessary for that custom was beyond what I had at the time, but I fudged my way through it. Toy Cooker helped me a little bit. He showed me how he extended the abdomen, because that figure, I don't have it with me right now. Oh, heck. I'll go get it. Give me a second. Be right back. I'm back. This was the figure that the body that he ends up using. And what he did was he extended the torso, and I'm like, extend the torso? What the heck? And obviously these boots didn't work for Wolverine, so I ended up splicing and dicing and gluing and using epoxy. And I used so many different figures on that kit bash. Go check out that video. I talk at length, but I learned a lot from my first custom because the level of difficulty was higher than I should have really been messing with. But it definitely taught me a lesson. It was good. So the stuff that you're going to see here, all I'm doing is dry brushing, and the technique is you get a little bit, just a dab of paint, and then you get the excess off on a paper towel, and then you just lightly go over the parts. And since the paint that I'm using is lighter than the base paint that I airbrushed on, as you see, that's gonna start standing out. The muscles are extending out. And then after I'm done dry brushing, depending on how much dry brushing I feel like doing, I'm gonna go back with an airbrush and use even a lighter color just to give the highlights, even more highlights to stand out here in this custom. I like this a little close. So what I'm ultimately the look I'm trying to get is that one on the left, right there. That's how I want it to come out. That's kind of the color that I have as the base, but I prefer this, so I want the blue to end up looking like that. And the reason I'm doing stuff like this is because when I first started, I could have used videos, even if it was done poorly, because I'm sure some of you that really know what you're doing are going, oh my gosh, what's this guy doing? Why is he doing it like that? I really have difficulty learning just from somebody writing on the page and maybe two-dimensional photographs. I'm not good at learning like that. I prefer to learn in 3D. So that's why I'm doing this on my channel. That's why I'm doing customs from start to finish, even though I'm not even close to being as skilled as some of these other guys. I don't mind sharing the stuff that I've learned. Guys I've picked up from, obviously I mentioned that toy cooker. That was an exchange of messages that I had with him. And I've learned from watching guys like Brandon Serta and Christopher Serta, sorry about that. And Brandon Lee on Facebook. Those guys share how they go about doing business. Also, Action Figure Toronto. Talk about being an artist, man. That guy is a phenomenal painter. He's got good ideas too. Good ideas. And he shares, which is awesome. So I'll probably go another 15 or so minutes. Those shows that there's 2 people watching. I have no idea who you are. Let me know who it is. That way I know you're peeping in. Hey, dude, dog. What is up? Hey, you know what? I saw you do one. I know that that's not your main thing that you do, but I did see you do a custom, the 6-arm Spider-Man. And you told people how you do that. It seemed like it was a pretty easy custom to do. What is that? What Spider-Man is that? I don't remember reading a comic book that showed the 6-arm, but I know there's many people that have done them. But I don't remember ever reading a comic book. Was it one of the doppelgangers, Spider-Man, that got 4 extra arms? So the idea with the highlights is obviously the raised parts are the parts that are going to be, the sun's going to the sun's going to be hitting those. So those are the parts that I want to highlight the most. But first, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, and I'm just going to build layers of highlights up until, and then I'll start focusing in on those areas to give it even more of a contrast. I was just going to use the airbrush, but I got scared. My airbrush is pretty cheap. I didn't think I could get the job done with that. Let me see. Oh, I'm missing what James just said. Let me push that back. Oh, is that right? I did not know that. I was reading comics in the 90s. Was it a McFarlane? Or is it post-McFarlane? That's the Spider-Man I read in the 90s, at least in the early 90s. Right before him and a bunch of other people started Image. A few years out. Okay. Yeah, that's probably why I missed it. I think at one point when I got really into baseball, I just didn't have time for comics at that point. Almost got, speaking of Texans earlier with Variant Comics and Brandon Lee, I almost got drafted by the Astros. But instead, I ended up getting a baseball scholarship. I didn't get drafted. Matter of fact, the scouts, the associate and the I forget what they call the main area scout. They were coming to my practices and giving me wood bats to hit with and gloves and trying me in different positions. They told me, "Oh, hey, stay by the phone, player. You're gonna get drafted." Didn't happen. Fortunately, one of my coaches was connected to the college I eventually got the scholarship to, and they had seen me play, and they liked my work ethic. So it wasn't D1, it was NAIA ball. It was pretty good baseball, but obviously not top notch. I'm having trouble seeing this. Hey, things happen for a reason, dog. I was an atheist during that time. I was an atheist. Very, very staunch atheist. Except, of course, when it was an important at bat or out or whatever, I would always go, if there's a God that exists, make this happen and I'll believe in you. that type of theology I had at the time. Pretty silly. But what ends up happening that summer, when I'm supposed to get drafted, I don't get drafted. Instead, what ends up happening, like I mentioned, I got that scholarship, and it was to a Christian school. And I remember sitting across from the coach and telling the coach, "Hey, coach, are you sure you want me here? Because I'm not a religious person." And he goes, "Don't worry about it. Things will work themselves out." Like, he just wanted me to go and play baseball there. And I was a lifeguard during the summer times, and I was driving on the freeway after work one day, and this car loses control. Here in LA, the freeways are crazy. It loses control, hits my car, and it sends my car through 3 lanes of traffic. Before I was going to hit the center divider, I hit the brakes, and my front end of the car does like a 180 towards traffic, and I'm about. I thought I was going to lose my life. I thought I was going to be head-on collision. It's all happening in seconds or fractions of a second, and it's slow motion for me. And I'm having this thought. It's like, oh, I'm about to die. And what ends up happening, as soon as I come out of that spin, I look up, and every single car in the freeway had stopped. And I was like, holy Moses. I didn't say that. I said other things. And for whatever reason, the thought that I had was like, there's something that exists or else I wouldn't be alive. So that's what ends up happening. And it's concurrent with me getting a scholarship to this Christian school, where now I'm having to take, as part of the curriculum, religious classes. And I remember I didn't own a Bible, so I had to go to the library. I had to go to the library to check out the Bible so I can get my work done, so I could stay eligible to play baseball. And during that time, I got another job in the city I was living in at the time. Actually, or at least a nearby city, another lifeguard job during the fall semester. And one night, I was 21 at the time. And one night, where I'm lifeguarding, there's only one person in there was 2 pools where I worked at. One, the main one that they used for lap swim, and a smaller one that was heated. And usually older people would go in there. And I met this lady, Betty Benson. She was 81 years old at the time. And she asked me if I'm a Christian because I'm going to this Christian school. And I'm like, no. And if it would have been, a month earlier, I would not have engaged her in conversation. But because of what had happened, that accident, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of interested in what you have to say. And she started telling me about Jesus and the reason that he died on the cross. And I had a nominal Catholic background, and I remember Jesus was always on the cross. But I had gone with some friends previously to their church, and I noticed that the cross was empty. Well, she explained that to me, that Jesus had rose from the dead after the 3rd day, and that he would pay for my sins. And I recognized I was a sinner. That was no doubt about it, the life I was living at the time. But anyways, I was open to hear what she had to say, and the Lord used that little old lady in my life to turn it completely around. My life it started making sense to me, and I believed in it. And it just, even though I had pretty good years at the school playing baseball wasn't my passion anymore. Yeah, little old lady, man. And I love little old ladies, and I think it's probably because of Betty Benson. Little old ladies. And it's so funny, the other day, the first time I'm out, I'm trying to shoot a hunt video, and my leg's not feeling that hot. because I'm still kind of fresh off the surgery, and we ran into the Golden Girls, man. If you guys haven't seen that episode, go check that out. Those little old ladies, poor little old ladies. Let me see who's commenting here. No. Oh, look who's here. Yeah, Koi, this is a long-term project. This isn't something that at least I can't get it done overnight. I don't have that ability. Oh shoot, is this a... Can't tell if that's paint on that paint or if that's actually a scratch. It looks like it's going to be a scratch. Darn it. I forget how I led into that. I need to tell the story about me when I was playing baseball. Not artistic. I wish now, doing stuff like this, I wish I would have taken art and sculpting or something like that when I was in high school. Even photography. This live feed is going viral. That's funny. Koi, how come you don't do live feeds? I know that your channel is basically toy hunting, and at least in my opinion, you're the best one out there, man. You find all the new releases, and you get good deals. Best of both worlds. I'm gonna have to fix that, man. That ticks me off. Going on 3 million. Yeah, exactly. I was talking the other day. What we all do here, obviously, Dog and SoCal Collector have a lot more subscribers than I do. But our what we do is a niche or a niche. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that, but not everybody's going to jump on it. It's not like PewDiePie. None of us will become like PewDiePie. Or what about that one kid? There's this one little kid that I think he made $11 million this year reviewing toys. And he's like 4. I won't be reviewing any of those toys. That ain't my thing. I have to fix this. Is that what it is? I think he's Asian. Little boy. See if I can start bringing some of the details of this sculpt out by this dry brush. Oh, I gotcha. I'm pretty sure you play video games, Koi. You should just start filming yourself. That's a PewDiePie got going. I've seen him a few times, and the dude's naturally funny. Just very, very inappropriate. I would never do. I think I can. I don't take myself seriously either, which he obviously doesn't take himself seriously. But just some of the topics I couldn't do. Even the language, I would have to pass on the language. My channel's PG, sometimes PG-13, but PG. That's where I like to keep it. But he's funny. At least it tickles my fancy a little bit. All right, peace out, dude dog. You got it. Absolutely. Please do. My life changed, forever changed. Very happy it did. 31 minutes. I think I'll go maybe a few minutes more, and I'll be done with this live feed. Just wanted to test out YouTube Live. I didn't announce it to anybody or anything like that. I was just having a feel for it. So it looks like there's 4 people watching. All I see was Dude Dog, SoCal Collector. Eric was in here a while ago. I don't know who else is in there. Let me know who's in there, players. I won't make you interact if you don't want to. Just curious who's watching. What happens if I hit this button? That's interesting. You're going to say Joe Mama? Oh. No. Ooh. Make it like a documentary right here. Can't see Jack Dilly squat though. Let's go back to normal. This one spot's gonna bother the living daylights out of me. Now there's only 2. They bailed. They bailed. Koi, did you already see The Last Jedi? I think I saw you posted that you were gonna go watch it, so you did. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. I think we're gonna try to go on Monday. Did I ask Ku to go permission? To go live. What do you mean, Koi? Okay, a couple more minutes and I will be done, but I'm going to continue doing this. I kind of like how this is looking down here. I'm going to work my way up. For those of you that are watching that do customs yourself, what I ended up doing was I did a base layer of an airbrush of this color, Vallejo Model Air, and then I sealed it with clear coat. And my goal there is just to protect the paint and to make it work easier, because if I mess up, I can work my way back down. Core members of what? Yeah, I'm on the Code 3 collector. Code 3 collector YouTube right now. I'm in nobody's house other than mine. All are welcomed here though. There's 5 players up in here. Woohoo! Yeah, still refusing to write. Can you at least say hi? Let me know who it is, so I can say hi back. I won't bother you, I promise. If you can see the contrast, the lighting here is terrible. I am working from my workbench, aka the kitchen table. And I'm gonna go one more minute and I'm outie. Outie bowdy. Coy, did you answer me? See the heck of the permission to go live? You're taken away from the core members. All 4 people. All 5 people. Yesterday on Facebook Live, I had a whopping 15 for a little bit. Hot Cheeto Fingers! There you go. Check out, he's running a giveaway on his channel. I wish he was giving away that Deathstroke. That Deathstroke, boy. It's on my to-do list, unless I end up winning it from you somehow. Then I won't have to do a Deathstroke, because that Deathstroke is sweet. What do you mean that's because it's a mobile device? I don't... No entiendo. No hablo. Did I win? Just kidding. I'll watch the video. Oh, you're saying that there was more people attending the Facebook feed because they were on a mobile device? I think, yeah, you're right. And then I guess the Facebook notification, since people are always on Facebook, they get the Facebook notification, whereas I would have to tell people that I'm going live on YouTube, or make it a planned event, I noticed. All right, folks, I'm at 38 minutes. This was just an experiment to test out YouTube Live. I think the picture, at least on my end, is coming out clear. I hope it's very clear on your end as well. And thanks for watching, and keep your eyes peeled. I will be doing a showcase, however long, whenever I finish this, I'll have a showcase on the channel of this Thanos custom. I think it has the potential to look a lot better than the Select and anything else that Hasbro has put out. So I'm really excited, and I'm hopeful. All right, guys, I'll see you around the webs. Peace.